Hi everyone, in this video I am going to teach you how to solve a probability problem. Before starting our video, I have uploaded another video in which I have described the general idea in probability. If you have not watched my first video, I advise you to watch that and come back to this video. Here we are going to discuss doing two random experiments simultaneously where we can't express the sample space as a set like this. Let's say there is a random experiment throwing a die and tossing a coin. These two activities are done simultaneously. To recap what we have discussed in first video, let me write the sample space for this one, throwing a die. What are the possible outcomes? Obtaining numbers from 1 to 6. Tossing a coin. What are the possible outcomes? Obtaining heads or obtaining tails. But when they have given these two activities done simultaneously, we can't write sample space in this manner. For that, we have to use two theories in probability where to express both activities together. For that, we can use a grid like this. This is nothing but xy coordinate plane. Or else, we can use a tree diagram including possible outcomes in these branches. In this video, I am going to discuss the grid method. Okay, here this is the sketch of a grid. We have given two activities. First one, throwing a die. In this grid, I have to label one axis with first activity and second axis with second activity. Then I have to mark coordinates in this grid representing possible outcomes for this particular activity. What are they? Numbers from 1 to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And possible outcomes in this activity: obtaining heads, obtaining tails. Then, if I mark the coordinates, process are obtained like this. Now, I have this grid for my two activities. Let's say, in first question, they are asking the probability of obtaining heads. Probability of obtaining heads. Then, in this grid, you have to select what are the crosses which indicate heads. So, we can obtain heads from this activity. How many crosses are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 crosses. That means our numerator is 6. Denominator should be the total outcomes. Here we have 6. With this 6, it is 12. So the probability is half. Let's say they are asking probability of probability of obtaining an even number. From this grid, I have to select a cross, or there can be many crosses where we are getting an even number. We have 2, 4 and 6 for even numbers. So we can obtain 2 with heads or 2 with tails. So we have two choices. or it can be 4 and heads, 4 and tails, and also 6 with head, 6 with tail. So all the crosses which I have marked are obtaining even numbers. They are not mentioning anything in this axis. We can obtain either heads or tails. How many crosses are marked? We have marked altogether 6 out of 12. Once again, the probability is half. Let's take another one. Probability of obtaining an odd number and tails. Now, here we have two options. We must obtain an odd number and tails. What are the odd numbers? 1, 3, 5. So we can have 1 as the odd number and we must have this cross. We can't circle this one because from the second activity we should have tails. 3 and tails. 5 odd number and tails. How many crosses are selected? 3. Numerator is 3. Altogether 12 possible crosses. Answer is 1. Let me discuss another example. Here there are two activities. One is tossing a coin and second activity throwing tetrahedral die. That means we have only 4 faces in our die. For that I have to draw the grid. This axis I am going to mark my first activity, y-axis second activity. Throwing a tetrahedral die. What are the possible results in this activity? Obtaining numbers from 1 to 4 because tetrahedron is a solid having only 4 sides. Tossing a coin, you can have either heads or tails. For each and every value in xy axis we have to mark their coordinates. Here we have altogether 8 crosses marked. Now, for that example, I have the grid. Using this grid, I want to complete these questions. Let's start with our first question. Probability of obtaining an even number. So here, they are referring to possible outcomes in this axis. Only that axis. They are not mentioning anything about head and tails. So we have to consider even numbers, this cross and this. Altogether we have 4 crosses marked out of 8. B. Heads and an odd number. Here they have given both axes. Head in this axis, that means I have to select these crosses, but they should be odd numbers. So what are the odd numbers? 1 and 3. Again, in tossing a coin axis, it should be a head. In throwing a die, tetrahedral die axis, it should be an odd number. So what are the crosses? Head and 1, head and 3. We have 2 crosses marked out of 8. Probability is 1/4. Part C. Probability of obtaining a triangular number. So we have to consider only this axis because we have numbers only in that axis. So what are triangular numbers? 1, 3, 6, 10, likewise. 1 is a triangular number and we have 3. That is also a triangular number. So we can obtain 1 with heads and 1 with tails because they are not mentioning anything about this axis, only triangular number. So we can have these two crosses and these two crosses, altogether 4. Last one, probability of obtaining odd number or tails. Before discussing this one, I want you to identify the difference between AND and OR. Here we have two conditions, obtaining heads and obtaining an odd number. That means if it is a head, we have to consider the next condition. If it is not heads, we are not going to consider this condition because we have the connection and you have to select a cross which satisfies both these conditions because it is connected with AND. If it is connected with O, what is the meaning of O? Either this or this. Either it can be an odd number or it can be a tail. So first I will take odd numbers. Let me erase these things. So odd numbers 1 and 3, they are odd numbers. So I can obtain these 4 crosses or tails. Tails means these 4 crosses. Can we have this cross? Yes. Why? This is representing an odd number. Can I have this cross? Once again, yes, because 3 is an odd number. Can I have this cross? No. Why? This is not an odd number. But I can have this cross because this cross represents a tail. That means if it is an odd number or a tail, you can have either this condition or this condition. So altogether we have 6 crosses out of 8. Answer 3. This concludes my second video, which I discussed how to apply the grid method to solve probability. Hope you join with my third video, where I am going to discuss how to draw a grid when without replacement element is given. Thank you.